Countdown. It's true. So we can see that A reflected into position B, and then that B to C reflected into C. Okay, so we can see from A to B and then B to C. So A did reflect in the x-axis and then the y-axis to become position C. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is to see if you can identify the point A in the line X, where X equals 1. Okay, so if you look where X would be along the X-axis, go to that line, almost invent a new line, and then reflect A. This will make more sense in a second. Okay, so almost that red line becomes the new reflective point. Okay, and therefore, rather than 3 to the y-axis, sorry, it's 2 to that new red line, and therefore reflecting from there, we see that the new position for this trapezium would be where B is now, where the first point is -1, -6, then and we go around to the other points. Okay, so we can change the line of reflection of that line. Okay, it doesn't always have to be either the X or the Y axis. Okay, so here, rather than X being 1, we've got Y is the equivalent of 1, so Y is 1. So if we look at where B is in that third quadrant, if we make a new red line where Y is 1, okay, so we make that new line, we've got to reflect B within that red line, or from that red line. So if we count that distance, we can see it's 4 to that red line from the normally tip, the horizontal top of that trapezium. We can see it's 4, and therefore C goes to this point here. It's 4 away, but the base is no longer the base. The base is now flipped it to be in the peak. Okay, right. If we look at the triangle, which is here been reflected in the y-axis, and we see that P is the point where the red crosses. Now, the peak of the blue triangle in the first quadrant is 3, 9. What will the coordinate be of P? So you've got to work out what P will be. So pause it, have a think. What's the coordinate for P? Okay, as you see, it's going to be, the distance is 3 from that y-axis, and therefore it'll be 3 from the y-axis the other way, and it'll be 9 as a positive value, so it's going to be 3 negative, so therefore the point becomes -3 and 9. Okay, now the triangle being reflected in the x-axis, what will the coordinate point of P be now? So think about that gap to that x-axis. What will the coordinate point of P be now? So you can see that originally the coordinate point of P was 3 along the x-axis and 9 at the y-axis, and therefore to reflect in the x-axis, we'll go beneath the x-axis, so into a negative value for the y value, and therefore we end up with 3, -9. Now what I'd like you to do, guys, is complete the rest of your first worksheet, so your first resource. So pause the video whilst you do that. And once you've completed that, based on our work on the first and the 4 quadrants, our work on reflection and translation, I'd like you to complete this end of block assessment. So this will be the second piece of work that you're asked to complete today. Thank you for concentrating, guys. Well done for getting through this first week of home learning within our maths. I look forward to seeing you all soon, and I'm really proud of how many of you have attempted to have a go at this work. So thank you, Year 6.